So you're thinking of buying a detached home. Maybe it's your first, second, third, whatever it is. Today's video, we're talking about the pros and the cons to buying a detached home in Calgary. And all I can say is I remember my first detached home up in the north part of Calgary. Rebecca and I bought it, and there was such freedom. There was excitement. You know, you're kind of free from your neighbors. You don't have a hallway you have to go down and smell all the different smells as you walk by everyone's doors. It's yours. It's your space. It's your house. You get to deal with the problems, you get to be an adult, you get to figure it all out, and it was so much fun. But with 53% of all property types being sold in Canada being detached houses, there's a lot of demand for detached homes. And with many, many people across the country looking for affordability, right now in Calgary anyways, there is a really low inventory on the amount of detached homes for sale. So it's driving up some prices. It's changing how things are looking, and it's changing the types of buyers that are buying them. But if you're one of the lucky ones that is planning on doing that, you want to watch this video, but stick around to the end because we're going to talk about all the pros and cons to buying a detached house. So there are four main types of properties in Calgary. You've got apartments, which are condos, townhouses, which are also technically condos because you have condo boards for both of them. You got semi-detached, like houses behind me where they're attached together. And then you got the glorious detached home, right? The one with no walls, nothing attached, and it's beautiful. Well, actually, a little tip. If you go into our description, you can see all of the detached homes in Calgary for sale right now, so go do that. But the first pro of buying your own detached home is no one's around you. It's yours. Like the glorious space, the yards, no noisy neighbors. And it's something that is kind of a luxury, kind of a bonus. Wouldn't you say, Justin? Yeah, he would say it. Justin's our camera guy. And I mean, he has a detached home. I have a detached home and we love it. And it's amazing, and you're gonna walk into a puddle. All right, well, we saved the Air Maxes, so that is good. But privacy and independence, these are the things that we're going after when we get a detached home. And one of the greatest things is having yard space. When you're in a detached property, a townhouse or apartment, that is the one thing that you don't really get as much, right? Entertaining space, building a deck, putting a hot tub, doing whatever you want in a yard that is yours, and it's yours to entertain and yours to enjoy, is such a blessing when you buy a detached house. The second pro is appreciation. So the thing with buying a detached home is the opportunity for it to appreciate potentially quicker than other types of product. So here's what I looked at. In Q1 of 2016 till early 2023, what are the median prices of different types of properties? So first off, you got apartments. In 2016, the median price was $245, and today, this last couple months, $227,000. So it's actually a 7% decrease. Townhouses was $301,000, and it went up to $315,000. So we saw a 5% increase over the last 7 or so years, 6, 7 years. Semi-detached went from $360,000 to $409,000, which saw a 14% increase. And finally, detached houses went from $410,000 to $519,000 for their median price, which is a 27% increase. Now, is that going to continue? Is that going to always be that way? I don't fully know. But the thing is detached homes are always in demand. So if you buy in the right location, in the right area, and the right type of house, your opportunity for appreciation is a lot greater. So I want to take a quick 10 seconds to say thank you for all the 10,000 subscribers we've had, and I want to blow our likes out of the water. The most we've ever had is around 790, so let's see if we can break 800 likes on this video. Another pro for a detached house is you can change things. You can make it your own, and there's no condo board, there's no resident manager that's gonna tell you can't, unless it's a part of the bylaws and you actually can't do it. But things like fences, shrubs, trees, landscaping, make sure you check your RPR before you do those things and you're putting them in the right places, because that can cost you a lot later. But even on the inside, you can move walls, you can finish basements, for goodness sakes. Like, there's so much you can do to customize it. And speaking of customizations, let's head over to this next house we want to show you, because there's also opportunity to have rental income in a detached house. So as you can see behind me, there's actually two fantastic examples of ways that you can have potential revenue when you own a detached home. So for example, these are carriage suites above their garage, and you have to have the right zoning, the right area of the city, all that kind of stuff to do it. But you can do a basement suite if you have the right zoning. You can do rent out rooms if you wanted. Having a detached home can allow you flexibility depending on the life stage, the life phase, or whatever it is that you're in, to kind of have some revenue come in, right? And that could help you pay off mortgage faster, pay off other debts, and it could just maybe create a friendship. You could have a friend, right? Because if you don't have friends, you could have a room in your house and create a friend that way that pays you.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
So there are some negatives and some cons to when it comes to buying a detached home as well. I mean, it's not all beautiful trees and flowers and making friends when you have rooms that you're renting out. There is some negatives. And one of those negatives is sometimes coming up with a down payment or just the simple cost of ownership of buying the property. And so the number we used earlier was $519,000 for the median price of a detached home in Calgary for the last couple months. And having that said, to put 5% down, you're coming up with around $25,000 plus some closing costs. And if you don't want to be a part of CMHC, you're gonna have to come up with probably $100,000, $105,000 plus some closing costs on top of that. So there's a lot of money there. And it's not, you can't always just come up with that money. Compared to like a townhouse, a condo, let's say something around $300,000 range, we're coming up with a range of $15,000 to $60,000. Your 5 to 20% down payment can sometimes be a little bit more achievable. So another con of owning a detached home is the costs. I mean, sometimes when you have to re-roof or re-shingle a house can easily be $15,000. Sometimes if you need a new furnace, well, there's $4 or $5 grand. Potentially if you need to re-landscape because everything and all the snow is going into your basement. I mean, that could be a lot of costs too. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I have these big costs or these big decisions or responsibility hitting me, sometimes I kind of sit there and go, where's the adult in my life or in the room that can help me fix this? And then the crazy part is I have to look at myself and I'm going, okay, that's me, because I'm the detached homeowner and now I'm responsible for fixing that roof. So sometimes you gotta set aside a budget, a sleep at night fund, whatever it is that can allow you to make sure that you have a good chunk of change that can be ready and able to use easily if something does happen in your house. So depending on your budget, you might have to give on something, right? You might have to figure out what location is better because you have a price point you gotta hit. So if you're trying to buy inner city, you might not be able to afford 8, 9, 1.3 type nice detached property. You might have to settle for something that's around 600, much more older, smaller, something like that. But if price point is really important and location's not important, sometimes if you go out further into suburbia, that's where you can start finding better deals, bigger houses, a lot different types of properties out there compared to something like this. But if buying trees, buying location, buying things so that it's close by, you most likely are gonna have to sacrifice something when it comes to finding that perfect detached home. Now, the last con to buying a detached home is actually flexibility. So if you own a home and you need to make a quick move somewhere else, changing jobs, maybe changing kids' schools, things like that, it's harder to just get up and sell this place, buy another one. There's more expenses, especially if you do this quicker than, every 5 years or so. So if you're planning on buying a detached home or any type of property in Calgary, make sure you actually plan on finding something that's gonna work and something that you can stay in. And you might have to really research the schools, the locations, and everything like that. And if that's the case, head over to this video here where we talk about how to find great homes near fantastic schools here in Calgary.